The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild ranks number 1 in my favorite video games of all time, and one of my favorite elements of this game are the shrines. There are 120 shrines in this game, and while many shrines are incredible, some shrines in this game are not that good. Hello Supreme Gamers, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll share the top 10 worst shrines in this game, but this is a remaster. Since I remastered my first video on my channel, which was the top 10 best Breath of the Wild shrines, I am remastering this video too. This is a remaster because while the concept is similar to my first video, the quality of the video is very different. For starters, back then I didn't have a capture card, so I only shared screenshots. Now I have a capture card, which means I can show you my very own footage of the shrines. Second, we got the Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition in June, and while that didn't affect the quality of the shrines, the graphics are way better. Third, the last time I played Breath of the Wild before the Switch 2 edition was before Tears of the Kingdom's release, meaning that list from my old video was based on my experience nearly 2 years before. This list is based on my most recent experience, which is the Switch 2 edition, though the past experiences do impact my list. Fourth, this list will not contain any DLC shrines because I didn't include any DLC shrines in my top 10 remaster, and I have something planned for the DLC shrines. Fifth, this list will not include any blessing shrines that had no challenge outside the shrine. Last time I had 2 blessing shrines in my bottom 10, but they would be pretty obvious that the blessing shrines would be in the bottom, which is why they are excluded. Because of having no blessing shrines in my list, nor the DLC shrines, there will be some placement changes in my ranking. Lastly, I have some honorable mentions before my number 1 ranking, much like last time. Before we get started, I just want to let you know I'm trying to reach a goal of 200 subscribers. So if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel. I also want you to know that this is purely my opinion. If you disagree with me, I'll gladly respect what you say. With that said, let's begin with the best of the worst. In 10th place, we have the 5 Flames Shrine. Even though there are some changes to this list, this shrine finally ranks the same place as the last time. First, there is a spike base outside the shrine with Lizalfos surrounding it, which is pretty cool, and the maze is also kinda fun, but you can just use Rivali Scale to cheat, which is not so fun. Inside the shrine, you have to light all the candles by hitting the switch to open the gate. However, there is a fountain that gets rid of the flames. You can just stasis the fountain and light the candles on fire. I tried to do this the intended way, but the water below gets rid of the flame, so there is some thinking involved. But what makes this shrine really boring is that you can just cheat by using fire arrows and moving the block away from the fountain. On paper, the concept's really good, but I wish they did like 2 or 3 segments instead of just 1 segment. However, this shrine is far from the worst, which is why it ranks 10th place. In 9th place, we have the Suma Sama Shrine. This is the first shrine on the list that wasn't in my original bottom 10. Hold on. This is a blessing shrine, and as I said before, this list will not have any blessing shrines. So why is this shrine in the list? Well, the shrine itself has nothing to do with this ranking, but the requirements to unlock the shrine impacted this. This is a shrine quest, and what you have to do is take one of the snowballs and make sure the snowball shadow is in the middle of the pedestal. However, this can only happen between 3:30 to 4:30 PM, depending on the snowball size. You can adjust the snowball size, but it depends on what time you arrive at that location. If you arrive before 12 or after 4, you have to sit by a campfire to reach noon. Then you have to wait 3 to 4 minutes before the snowball shadow touches the pedestal. Had the shrine quest made you wait till 1 or 2, this shrine wouldn't be in this list. The only reason why it isn't lower is that if you arrive there before 3 o'clock, the shrine quest will be quick, which is why it just ranks 9th place. Still, 3 to 4 minutes is just way too long. In 8th place, we have the Fateful Star Shrine. Now, much like last time, this shrine is the most biased entry on this list. On paper, this is a really creative concept. However, during my first couple of playthroughs of this game, I did not know how to solve the shrine and believed this was the worst shrine in the game. This is the only shrine I searched for on YouTube because of how difficult it was to understand the puzzle, and I don't think I'm the only one who searched for it. Now, I think this is a fun puzzle because I know how to solve it. You have to count how many patterns in the column are on the board. Then, you place the orb on the pedestal that indicates which number is for each row. There is also another puzzle for the treasure chest, and that is also pretty fun. Overall, this shrine is pretty fun, especially after knowing how to solve it, but this is pretty biased. My experience with this shrine puts this in 8th place, just like last time. In 7th place, we have the Metal Connection Shrine. I'll just say, this shrine is really boring. For starters, the chest is completely free. Just climb up the metal blocks, and that is all. As for the challenge, you have to lift the 3 metal blocks and place them between the end and the platform next to it. This is because you want to get the long metal platform. Without the platform, the ending is too high to reach. And you can also not do any Revali Gale inside the shrines. So you need that long metal platform. You have to place the platform above the metal block to reach the end. This shrine does involve some thinking and effort, but it is very boring, which is why this shrine ranks 7th place. In 6th place, we might have the most nothing non-blessing shrine in the game. We do not have the delayed puzzle shrine. Last time I said that this shrine might be the most nothing non-blessing shrine in the game. However, there is another shrine that completely lacks creativity. In my top 10 shrines remastered video, I said that Elden is home to many creative shrines. But there is one sole exception. That is none other than the Stalled Flight Shrine. Funnily, this shrine involves electricity despite being in Elden. All you have to do in that shrine is to stasis the block once the current touches the switch in the ceiling. You should just stand on the block to reach the height of the exit. Overall, this shrine is boring. There's nothing special about this shrine. The treasure chest also lacks creativity. You just glide to the other side. At least the last shrine in this list required some effort and thinking. This shrine requires no effort or thinking. Had this shrine consisted of 2 or 3 different parts instead of 1, I wouldn't even be talking about this shrine. This is the most nothing non-blessing shrine in the game, and I am surprised that I did not include this in my original bottom 10s video. In 5th place, we have the Zeikasho Apparatus Shrine. This is another shrine that wasn't in my original bottom 10. This is the first shrine in this list that uses one of the worst features in the game, motion controls. I am not a fan of majority of the motion control shrines. However, the first part of the shrine isn't that bad. You just have to move the spikes to the side to clear the middle row. The second part does not involve any motion controls at all. You just have to hit the switch to flip the platforms. The chest also utilizes the switch really well, along with being pretty challenging. The third segment, however, is the main reason why this shrine is in the bottom 10. There are 3 orbs, and you have to tilt the controller for the orbs to land on the 3 switches. Now, I actually completed this on my first attempt, but my experience before wasn't great. The shrine itself also lacks creativity, and that tedious third segment puts the shrine in 5th place. I am really surprised that I did not include this in my original bottom 10, because even including the blessing shrines, this shrine would still be in the bottom 10. In 4th place, we have the Lost Pilgrimage. Now this is easily the most tedious shrine quest in the game because of how annoying this little Korok is. We have to secretly follow the Korok without getting lost or spotted. If either of those happens, you go back to the very beginning. And this Korok loves going back and forth. And this would make it really easy to get spotted. I love challenging puzzles, but this Korok pushes it too far. It is a bit of fun to follow the Korok and not get caught. However, it is really annoying at the same time. I got caught a couple of times and it was really frustrating. The shrine quest is meant to be fun and challenging, but when this Korok constantly goes back and forth, it gets really annoying. I know that's meant to be the challenge, but I just had a lot of trouble with this. Based on my experience and the requirements to get to the end, this shrine ranks 4th place despite the concept being pretty creative. In 3rd place, we have the Katosa Ag Apparatus Shrine. This shrine is the 2nd shrine in our list that uses motion controls. Because of motion controls, it is really easy to mess up our aim. However, this shrine is also really short, with almost nothing fun. Last time I put this shrine in 6th place, but now I realized just how subpar it is. For this shrine, we play mini golf. We have to hit the ball in a straight line. I struggled a bit to pull it off because I can't swing the ball in a straight line without messing up my controls. Sometimes I struggle to hit the ball itself, and overall, I'm just not good with motion controls. Some of you might like this more, but I don't like motion controls at all. This part is not that bad if you're good at motion controls, but it is really lackluster. The treasure chest segment is a bit better because you need to angle the direction, which adds some more challenging creativity. However, motion controls really mess the shrine up, and it is unfortunate because some shrines have good motion control puzzles. However, there is a shrine that does motion controls way worse, which is why this shrine ranks 3rd place. In 2nd place, we have the Tempered Power Shrine. My previous shrines in this list are either decent with tedious parts or just boring. However, none of them are outright bad, unlike this and the following shrine. In this shrine, we play golf again, this time without using motion controls. We have to stasis an orb and hit it a couple of times with an iron sledgehammer or any weapon and launch it into the hole. The problem is that it is incredibly difficult to perfectly nail it. Every time I hit with a sledgehammer, I always had to use a one-handed weapon to get to the hole. But even then, it is still really hard to get the perfect angle because I would most likely mess that up. After that, you reach a part where you have to hit the block and flip the platform. And that is the best part about the shrine. After that, you reach the end. However, there is an optional treasure chest. And that is by far the worst treasure chest in every single shrine in the game. The procedure is similar, except there are parts that block the path. You have to hit the ball at the perfect angle with the perfect amount of damage to make it in the hole. Now, I did manage to make the orb land on the hole by using iron sledgehammer and a one-handed weapon, but using one-handed weapon isn't the intended way, and it kind of felt like pure luck. Last time I said this shrine is the 2nd worst shrine, and I still think this is the 2nd worst shrine. Had a treasure chest not been optional and instead been mandatory, this shrine, believe it or not, would still not have taken the number 1 spot, because the number 1 shrine is truly awful, and I believe there is no possibility any of these shrines can top the number 1 worst shrine in the game. Before we talk about the worst shrine, I want to bring out some honorable mentions. First, I'll say all the blessing shrines that involve no challenge outside the shrine are an honorable mention. It doesn't matter whether they're part of a shrine quest or not. Blessing shrines are lame, but I said I wouldn't include any blessing shrines in this list, so they are an honorable mention. Next up, we have the delayed puzzle shrine, which was in my original bottom 10. You can just attach the electric orb and magnesis that orb to the switch. The treasure chest is also nothing special, but it is a bit better than completing the shrine because you have to place the orb inside the cage and touch the switch. However, I completely forgot about the shrine quest, and this is pretty creative. You have to go in the direction of the silent swordsman points with her sword. The shrine quest is the reason why this shrine is no longer in the bottom 10. Lastly, this is an unpopular opinion, but I didn't really enjoy the Typhlo Ruins shrine. This shrine requires you to move around in the dark. Once you arrive at the pedestal, you need to fight the Hinox and take the orb. A lot of people consider this to be one of the favorite shrine quests in the game, but I am sorry, I just don't enjoy playing dark levels. I hate the fact that I can't see anything in this area. However, this is a really creative and unique idea, which is why this just avoided the bottom 10. But the worst shrine in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is, without question, the Mia Anna Apparatus Shrine. I placed the shrine at the rock bottom because it's so bad. For starters, this shrine requires motion controls, and as mentioned before, I am not a fan of them because they are just too hard to control. And this shrine is a perfect example. The platform the orb falls into is a maze, and you have to control the direction of the ball using motion control. On paper, this is a really creative idea, but the execution is a complete flop. It is really hard to control the direction with motion controls. Not only that, but if the ball falls, then it would respawn. However, if the platform is not at its starting position, the ball will land anywhere, including the railings, so it will fall off again. Not only that, but you can also cheat by flipping the maze upside down to pass the challenge. The treasure chest in this shrine is not that fun either, because you can just paraglide to where the chest is located instead of actually partaking in the maze. But if you do the shrine the intended way, it will be the most tedious and annoying shrine in the game. And honestly, the fact that you can just cheat the shrine brings it down, because it is not a fun way to cheat. It's just that you solve the puzzle like that. No good. I placed a shrine at the rock bottom before, and it is still at the rock bottom now. This shrine is anything but fun, which is why this shrine takes the crown for the worst shrine in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I am trying to reach 200 subscribers. So please subscribe to my channel. I enjoyed making this remaster, and I have something planned for the DLC shrines, so stay tuned for that. With that said, take care everyone, and I'll see you next time. Alright, goodbye.